Hey guys, Jeg's Garage here. Long-awaited update video on the tablet project in the Subaru. It is finished. You're going to hate me because I did a bunch of stuff not on video, but you'll get to see all that stuff, okay? I'll explain why in a minute, but you'll get to see everything I did to mount it and all that. I will try to make a video, and this video probably won't come out until I do that. So first things first, in order to get I was using my Parrot Bluetooth kit to pump audio through, and that was all well and fine, but it just wasn't working for me. Switching to auxiliary on the Parrot kit is a pain in the rear, and it was very inconsistent. So what I did was I took the radio out and I did the auxiliary in hack, and you can read about that online, but essentially you find your CD player's input to the amp and the stereo, and you connect a auxiliary cable to it, so an 1/8 inch stereo circuit basically, and it takes a little bit of figuring out to figure out what which connector does what, but online there's tons of resources for that. So what that basically means is that in order to play the tablet audio, all I have to really do is come in and hit CD, and CD6 in this changer is a blank CD. If you have a single disc player, you're way well off, because when this is done playing, it actually goes back to CD1. So I have two options. I either have to say disc repeat, or every time I get in the car, I just as soon as I turn the car on, my hand goes up, hits track back, and I have 72 minutes of driving. And it's very, very minimal hassle compared to paying the money you can for an auxiliary input that goes in there. So the other thing I had to do was, since there is no cubby with the driver's information center, I had to relocate the driver's information center, and you'll find that down where the ashtray used to be. I'm extremely proud of this, because you can buy a kit from JDM that does this, and I don't think it looks nearly as good as the one that I made. And you guys know me, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I think it looks extremely good. It's flush mounted. The curvature of this screen almost matches the curvature of the bezel, so I see no reason why the JDM kit doesn't make it match like this. But it fits perfect. I will actually be probably maybe even selling this one, depending. Like I said, you'll hear more about that later, but it'll bolt right in place of the ashtray. Like, I glued mounts on so that it screws in place right where the ashtray was, and the ashtray will go back in. I damaged nothing. It works just like always. You have your button here for your dash light dim. You can cycle through. It works perfect. All I had to do was extend the harness. So I didn't have to extend the harness, but I like a little extra wire, so I extended the harness. I got another cubby with wiring harness, and I just used the chunk of that wiring. So it works perfect. It's I'm 6'4", and like, here's my point of view. I can see it fine. If you were shorter, I think you might have a little bit of a, you'd start to get some clipping on there, but it's not that bad. So next up, I'm gonna put this thing on a tripod and try to show you this tablet install. Okay, now that you've seen the driver information center relocated and the trackpad, this is my tablet home screen. I had this planned where the Android Dreamscape, or whatever you want to call it, was up, and I was going to do, like, the big reveal, but it's not cooperating. So I'd have to sit here for like 5 minutes, and it's 27 degrees out, and I'm on my lunch break. So this is the screen that I came up with as my main interface. I used a already available template online and kind of modified it. It came out really good, in my opinion. Now, there'll be a couple things. I'm going to try to go over this quick, but there's so much involved in this that, it's just crazy. So first, the layout. These are just basic icons. Nothing real groundbreaking there. The Subaru logo, it was a vector logo, so it's nice and crisp and clean looking. Most of the time, I'm either using Spotify and Waze or Google Maps. That's about all I really use on this tablet, to be honest with you. Over on the left, I had the choice of using some widgets and some other things, and I opted to go for something that was a little ambitious, that I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but it came out really good. So down in the lower left, I used to have a mechanical autometer boost gauge in my cubby before I did all this, and I liked that. Down in the lower left now, I have a torque widget boost gauge. And through some blind luck, I was able to get the boost gauge to fit perfectly. I custom made that red ring, and if you know how the Subaru Legacy Dash looks, everything's surrounded by a red ring, so it actually matches really well. The gauge lettering and numbering and the hash marks look really good. Up in the upper left, I could put another torque widget there. Matter of fact, I think engine temperature or battery voltage. I had something else up there, but to be honest with you, the Nexus 7 tablet, when you're running Bluetooth and other things all at once, it really starts to bog down. I mean, it really starts to bog down. So what I end up doing is I usually just toggle the Bluetooth on and off when I feel like looking at the boost gauge. So, you know, I don't know. I kind of think I might have left my manual boost gauge mounted somewhere and then, you know, did something different there. But I really like it. It looks good. So up in the upper left, I just have a clock. I found a very simple clock that pretty much fit the spot. And since I relocated my driver info center down to the ashtray area, I have a quick reference for the time. So it works. It looks kind of neat and it works. So you'll notice that this bezel, I did not modify as others have. I did not modify this bottom part to allow me access to the home, back, and multitasking buttons. I wasn't sure how this was going to work out, but honestly, I don't even miss them. The screen is still there, like I activated my mouse. You'll see it on the Subaru logo, and I can actually drop down and I can activate those buttons blindly. But it's just not, you know, that would be kind of like crazy to drive and try to do that. So what I did was I downloaded something called Button Savior. And that's that little widget you see on the left there. Now you won't really be able to see it, and it's not really used too much on the home screen, but it kind of puts this semi-transparent row of buttons up here, and these buttons are back, multitask, or however, you know, brings up all your apps that are open, your home button, volume up and volume down. Volume up and volume down I could probably get rid of. The volume never changes, the volume's always up high all the way. So I could probably get rid of those. And then there's also a kill button there. So you click that and it goes away. So if you're watching a movie or if I'm on the home screen and not doing anything, I kill it. It works really good. And you can get it with your finger. It's not too bad. You know, you don't have to use the mouse. You can touch it that way. So let's get into a couple real quick here, a couple of things. Programs, obviously, programs. That's, you know, nothing too crazy there. I can put a list of all the apps that I used to put everything together here. So if you want, I can do that. I'll probably do it anyway. So I'm running Apex Launcher, and I'm running USB ROM for the power handling. So it's got a, you know, you have to forgive me. It's been so long since I started all this stuff. I kind of forget what some stuff is called, but you know, everything works really good. Let's see, the other apps are self-explanatory. We can go into YouTube. I'm not going to play any music through this. You're going to have to take my word for it that the sound quality is quite good. I'll show you what's in the glove box there, but it's the same setup you saw before. I had to do a little bit of messing around there, but if we go into my videos, maybe I'll just put something up and you'll be able to hear the sound quality that way, because I don't think I can get copyright infringement on my own videos. Right now it is tethered to my cell phone. Basically when I get in the car, all I have to do is just on the way to the car turn on my hotspot, and when I turn on my ignition and fire it up, it generally is ready to go. Okay, so here we go. We're in my we are in my set now. So let's go to the Firebird video. I have to switch to CD. So the video quality is good for stuff like this. It seems to work well, and you know, I have the volume on 8 out of 40 right now. It's shaking the whole car. So that was halfway. It's got plenty of volume, and that's through the auxiliary in hack on the factory stereo with a blank CD playing. And I have a noise filter on the whole setup because otherwise I'd get alternator noise since the car is running. So that's that. That's how it sounds, how the video works. That's that. Works good. If I want to get out of it, I just hit home, and we're back to home. Spotify works really well. I have to start using my mouse, get my hand out of there. Spotify works really well. I pretty much use that for, that's all I listen to. So, I mean, it's everything you can think of at your fingertips. So I use that for radio. For navigation, I use Waze or Google Maps. Now, I haven't used Waze in a while. Let's turn it on and see if it boots up. So you'll notice in the lower right hand corner I have it set up so that I get a widget for Spotify. I tried to find a widget that would work pretty much for all audio, like a play, pause, track skip for all audio, and I couldn't quite find it. Yeah, I'm not going to rate you now. So what I did was I used overlays, and I have this. It's transparent, slightly transparent, and it functions perfectly fine. It tells you what's playing, and it's not in the way of anything. The only time it's in the way of something is if you go to type. So if you come in here and you say I want to navigate, and it's downloading prompts. Like I said, I haven't been in this in a while. Okay, so maybe you want to hit the M. You take your mouse, and this is another reason I need the mouse, is all the way on the right. If you put it all the way to the left, all the way to the left, and double click and pull over, you'll get this little toggle, and you can just toggle it off. And if you leave it alone and you shut the tablet down and come back, it'll turn all the overlays back on, but you can just kind of quick toggle that on and off. But for the most part, you know, most of my the addresses I use are kind of saved, so I can just one button click them and they go. One nice thing about having the audio hooked up through my auxiliary in hack is that the audio from the tablet will come through no matter what source you're listening to on the radio. So if I'm listening to FM radio and I start playing music on the tablet, it'll bleed over the FM radio. The advantage to that is when I'm using navigation and I want to listen to the FM radio or another CD, the navigation audio will come over the factory radio. So it's almost like having that, it's almost like an automatic switch, and it's almost by accident. So it worked out really good. I was really happy with that, the way that, you know, managed to work out. Like totally by accident, but let's see what else. If you hit the Subaru logo, touch the Subaru logo, you get torque and all of its wonderful awesomeness. I have not set up gauges. I put torque on here and use it for just quick reference on a couple things, but I have not set up a nice dash. You see I put a background on it, and that's about it. Speaking of torque and the boost gauge, it is pretty responsive. I'm dipping into the throttle now, you know, it comes back, and it's pretty responsive. It's not like my odometer gauge, but... And the other nice thing is it will tell you max boost. So if you're going down a road and you hammer it, it'll put a little red tick, you know, where it is. And I verified it with the gauge. It actually is really accurate, believe it or not. It works well. So that about wraps it up. I mean, I have apps and stuff I could show you, but one thing I am using is, and again, this is something you can't see, but if you take your mouse and go all the way to the extreme lower right-hand corner and click, you'll get, you know, your task manager, whatever you want to call that. One thing I am using is Lux brightness, and I have it set up so that at sunrise and sunset, at sunset the screen will dim to 20%, and at sunrise it'll increase to 100%, and that works really good. Right now it is at 100%. Sometimes it doesn't work, and I also have Tasker that I set up to run, change the brightness at certain times of the day. But again, that kind of depends on what status it is when you start the car up. Sometimes if it hangs or something, it does some weird stuff. But so that is pretty much it. Here's what it looks like when you power it. Right now I have the car running. I only had the car running so I could show you the boost gauge. So I'm going to shut the car off, let you see the shutdown process and how long it takes. And I'm also going to turn the ignition back on so you can see how long it takes to start up. And during this process, you can actually look at the screen here. This is my, and I don't know if I even talked about this. This was kind of a hush-hush to see if I could get it to work, but this is my Parrot MKI 9100 Bluetooth kit. And this is where the stock Subaru buttons would be for navigation. What I did was I cut a plexiglass panel to kind of recess and fit in there, and I used laminate to cover up everything except for the opening of the screen. And then the screen is mounted from behind, completely naked. So I took it out of the little case that Parrot, you know, has it mounted in, and mounted it straight to the back of that, and it works really good. You can see it fine. You can't see it when it's off. Right now you can see the little Bluetooth logo moving around as the screensaver. My original intention was to put buttons in here on the rest of this blank for doing the home screen and all that, but I could never get that to work, so I left it alone. So here's the shutdown. Takes just a second. We got a custom background that comes up, counts down. You have 5 seconds to hit the back button. If you hit the back button on the button savior little widget that I have, it will cancel the countdown just like the on-screen button will. So there you go. It's completely shut down. This thing drains about 1 to 2% every 12 hours. So if I have 100% charge on the tablet and I leave it and come back out the next morning, 12 hours later, it'll be down to 98 or 99. If I just drive for a little bit, it'll go back up to 100. If I run Spotify and I'm running Waze, it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes, as most of you might know, with Androids, you get little weird faux pas and it'll drain down to 50% or something stupid like that. I've only had that happen once, and I just kind of let it charge, tried not to use the tablet a whole lot till it charged back up. And I think even that one night when I got home, I just inside the glove box is where the power supply is, so I just plugged it into a wall wart essentially and let it charge while I wasn't in the car. So here's key on. Boom, it's ready. And if you look below, you'll see the Bluetooth kit turn on. Wi-Fi connected pops up when you get a Wi-Fi. That's a Tasker app. There's the Bluetooth app doing its thing, nice and bright. Aside from the Wi-Fi connected notification there, this thing's ready to rock as soon as you hit power. I mean, it's super fast. And right now, since we're not getting any Bluetooth data, it's even smoother. You'll notice that the clock no longer skips a second every once in a while to catch up. So let's see some other things. Apollo is if there is a spare space in my USB hub, which again I'll show you in a second where I have that stuff now. If I wanted to plug a USB in there, I could. I don't do that very often though, because Spotify has every song imaginable, so well, I don't really need to get involved in that. So the tablet, so funny story real quick, you guys will get to see the back of the tablet and how I mounted it, because after all the hard work I put into this and I'm finally done, I'm selling the car. Some guy's coming to look at it tomorrow and might be taking the car away. So the tablet, as of tonight, will be ripped back out of this car, and the boost gauge cubby will be back in place. So I was kind of hastily doing this video because this is something I've been working on for years now, and I kind of took a break with it for a little bit and just let the tablet sit in the open space, and finally got it all mounted and ready to go, and it's coming out. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that my vents still move at least a little bit. You know, not too bad. This one's much better because it doesn't have the power cord behind it. No problems with heat, no problems with cold. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, that's it. Here, I'm gonna move this now. Move this little tripod out of the way. Let's see if I can give you a little bit of a... You can see my gauges on the left there if you're not familiar with what they look like. And you can see why I went with the gauges there. Sorry about the lighting in here too. The reflection on the dash is killing the GoPro. I am using the GoPro. So that's that. That's about all I have. If you have any questions, let me know. Here, we'll go in the glove box real quick. I don't really use the owner's manual, so there's like a tray up there, and it's perfect. It's actually split in the center. You can see that split right there, and it comes apart like a little plastic box. So I was able to fish all the wires in. And in there is the 3 amp DC power converter thing, the little power plug. That's my USB hub over there, and it's got the mouse pad plugged into it and also the DAC. The audio goes from the tablet through this audio jack and into this Radio Shack, or I guess Amazon noise controller. Now, when I had this before, you'll see if you looked at my old videos, I had this just plugged directly in, and I think the Parrot Bluetooth kit kind of didn't really care, but you'll notice there's an output and an input. Well, the female was on the input and the output was a male, and that's the opposite of what I needed here. So this didn't work at first when I plugged it in, and I was kind of discouraged. And then one day I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, these are backwards. So all I did was put a male end on where there was a female and a female where there was a male, just 2 little, connectors there, and it works great. Dead silent, no audio noise at all. So that's that in the dash there. And of course, so that's the tablet project, and I appreciate all the views on this. And if you have any questions, I think the next vehicle will probably get this, and I'm probably going to change that symbol to the next vehicle symbol because they're very, very similarly shaped. And we'll see what happens with the new one. I have much more room in the new dash. So, but yeah, there it is. Oh, I forgot to mention, I do have a nice screen protector on there, and I think it's by InvisiShield. I'd have to check again. I'll try to put all the links to the stuff that I purchased down below. But this thing it's glossy. You can see there is a reflection on it. But when the sunlight is coming through, like, of course there's no light over here, but when it's coming through the sunroof or through the windshield, it doesn't affect what you can see back there. It's kind of weird how it works, but it works quite well. So that's that, guys. Thanks for watching. More to come. Like I said, the tablet will be back. We'll see what happens.